Hello there. In this video I want to take a look at car accident claims and road traffic accidents and essentially give you some tips as to what you should do in a situation, an unfortunate situation where you may be involved in a car accident. Road traffic accidents in Ireland account for 75% of personal injury claims. Car accidents can lead to all sorts of injuries: whiplash, spinal injuries, broken limbs, back pain, soft tissue, neck injuries, and so on. You know as well as I do the range of injuries that are possible arising from a road traffic accident. The use of the roads by society also leads to other types of road traffic accidents. For example, you might be a perfectly innocent passenger in a car involved in an accident. The poor state of the roads might have caused you an accident or caused you damage. You might be a cyclist. It could be an accident or injury arising from animals or livestock on the roads, and then there's obviously pedestrian personal injuries. What should you do then if you have been in a car accident? Firstly, you need to look after your health. So you should if there's any doubt at all in your mind about your well-being, your physical well-being, then you should see a doctor or a medical practitioner or go to hospital. You should report the accident to the Gardaí, even if they don't come out to the scene. The Gardaí have an incident book at the station and they will record the fact that you've come in and reported this accident. You may be glad of this later on. If, for example, somebody decides to welch out of liability, you need to just to follow up on that, the driver of the car, of the other car, may in the first flush of the accident hold his or her hands up and say, I'm completely at fault and I'll deal with everything. But once they go to get advice from friends or neighbours or family or a solicitor, then they may well change their mind about liability, and they may well change their mind about liability when they speak to their insurance company. So that's something that you need to kind of cover yourself with, even if the Gardaí don't come out, even if you're happy enough or believe that the other party will sort you out and remedy everything as well as they can, then you should still report the accident to the Gardaí. You should get the registration number of the other vehicle, get the name, address, contact details and insurance details of the other driver. You should contact the solicitor as well, just for an initial consultation, just to let them know what's happened and maybe get a bit of a steer. You do not need a solicitor to submit an application to the Injuries Board, but it might be no harm for your own peace of mind and so on, just to be sure about, that you want to do it yourself, if that's what you choose to do. It might be no harm just to have a consultation with a solicitor and have a brief chat about what is involved. You should take photographs of the scene and take photographs of the vehicles with your mobile phone. Hopefully you have a mobile phone on you, most people do. And you should check the insurance disc of the other vehicle. What should you not do? Well, you should not admit liability, because the terms and conditions of some insurance policies state that you will invalidate your policy of insurance if you admit liability. Liability is something that should be really looked at later on by other people, other parties, and by the insurance company and perhaps by the Gardaí. Don't leave the scene of the accident until details have been exchanged and or the Gardaí have been out. If you're unfortunate enough then to be in an accident with an untraced or uninsured driver, there is a body, the Motor Insurers Bureau of Ireland, which will ultimately deal with any claim. You will need a solicitor though for this, because I think that a solicitor will need to make certain make certain submissions to the MIBI in a particular prescribed format that's set out in legislation as to how to process a claim for an uninsured or untraced driver. So I would recommend you contact a solicitor for this. Do you need to use a solicitor then generally in relation to a personal injury claim? No, you certainly do not. You can submit the claim yourself to the Injuries Board and deal with it yourself. If you did use a solicitor, he or she would advise you though of each step, or at each step of your accident claim. He or she would also advise you on medical reports, actuarial reports if they're necessary. and obviously he'll deal with or she'll deal with the injuries board and the respondent and the insurance company if necessary, and assist with all aspects of the personal injuries claim. You do not need, though, to use a solicitor. That's entirely a matter for yourself. Some people would be more comfortable doing so because ultimately there may well be an assessment by the injuries board, it may well be accepted by the insurance company, and you will then be faced with having to accept or reject it. That's the first thing, and you need I would suggest you probably need some advice to do that from somebody who might have a bit of experience in the area. The other thing is the question of if the insurance company, for example, does not agree to the assessment, or if they do agree to the assessment and then don't agree to the amount. Ultimately, you're going to need a solicitor then to issue a personal injury summons and pursue the thing through the courts, because that's how it has to be done. Ultimately, if the assessment is rejected, or if the other party does not agree to an assessment, then the injuries board will simply wash their hands of it. They will issue a letter of authorization to you to pursue the matter through the courts, and they will close their file. So in those circumstances, clearly you will need a solicitor. My name is Terry Gorry. I'm a solicitor in Enfield in County Meath, and there are my contact details there on the screen. I hope you find this video useful. If you do, you might please give us a thumbs up down below, and subscribe perhaps to my YouTube channel, on which I have other videos about the injuries board procedure, personal injury claims, and all aspects of law in Ireland, including employment law, family law, business, criminal law, road traffic, etc. Thank you for watching.